Exploring automation
And with
strategies for
the new
email flows
automation
with
stuff, yes, it's
adaptability in a
absolutely
changing
possible.
marketing landscape.
There is also the if then stuff. If they
Yeah.
have this tag, send them down these. If it has this tag, send them down these. So there is, that as a possibility. There's also, a go to or, send to other automations. So if you want to use these emails again in the future, like, offer this multiple times, then you can have an entire email sequence specifically for the intensive or whatever. And then once someone reaches the end of one, then you can say, okay, has this tag add to workflow, and then send them into, that workflow.
So I could just leave in the current automation I have through like the nurture and the empowering and the encouraging ones. When it hits the sales, instead of keeping them all in there, then I should say, okay, if they don't have this tag, go to this automation where it's then like the sales pitch ones for the intensive, and then just dump them out of the automation and they're done with the nurture then and do it that way instead. Okay.
Yeah, that is a possibility. Yes, it just depends on, what your entire flow is.
Yeah.
And, nurture isn't always bad. It's, having 80, honestly, right now, I don't even know what the numbers are. Social
Yeah.
media, it had been 80/20. I don't know what it is now, just because AI and the marketing landscape is changing so much. So just like you teach, have that sales thing as in a PS, and, have nurture and, some of that other information. But the marketing landscape, as we all know, is changing quite a bit. So you don't ever want to not be offering a next step, but
Yeah.
you
No.
also, you know,
I typically start offering it at email 4, but I'm kind of rethinking it with this just because if they get to both, I don't want them to have the duplicate. So I'm thinking I will nurture them, but I do like the PS maybe to test and like keep going with the nurture, maybe to email 5 or 6, because my open rates on my emails are high.
Well, that's
So,
great, but you also want to make sure, I mean, people may be opening it, but sometimes Google tells us that it's being opened when it's not actually being opened. The
okay,
other
good.
thing is someone actually reading the entire email? We have no way of knowing that. And it may be that you're taking too long to get to the sales offer.
Okay.
So the reason I say that is if someone is warm right now, you don't want them to cool off. So if you wait until 3 or 4, and especially depending on how many days you have between 3 and 4, you're giving them a chance to stop paying attention to you.
And especially since being a part of this summit right now, they're getting inundated from 15 of us total. Okay. Thank you for talking this out. I appreciate it.
So normally I would absolutely say, have that my story email as the first one, and then, maybe the second one is, that next step. But I think, especially because you are getting 15 and you are getting open rates and things like that, don't squander the chance to talk to a warm audience. Don't squander that chance to put something as the next step. Even if that next step is having a call with you. You don't have to sell anything quite yet. It could be just having a call with you to see if a clarity session might be the next thing, but
Well,
you want to do some sort of a next step.
yes, always. And I do have on the bump page right below it to the first 5 who opt into the Clarity Suite, they get a free, less time-wise, I reduced the time, Clarity intensive session with it too. So that also began to plug the seed of it as well.
So then if you have that in your bump, I don't want to wait until email 5 to find out how I rebuy that bump. If I didn't do it in that moment because my finances weren't in, my payment hadn't come through, my card wouldn't read because I'm doing it on my phone, whatever that thing is, because there are a lot of times where my phone doesn't want to take the payment, so I have to get up and go get my wallet or get to my computer or whatever else. I want to hear again about that bump immediately. So don't hold off on putting that bump offer, because you offered that bump offer. So do it again.